2023 Nissan Versa, courtesy of Younger Nissan in Frederick, Maryland. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. And so today we're in the new Versa because there's actually several changes for the 2023 model year. Not only that, the Versa actually starts at under $16,000 still to this day. And we actually have that bottom trim level with us here today as well. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so as you can imagine, there are a few different trim levels for the 2023 Versa. First one being the S, which is the one we have today, starting at $15,830. Then there is the SV for $19,120. And lastly, the SR starting at $19,820. So every single trim level starts at under $20,000. That's pretty remarkable, but regardless of trim level that you go with, power plant on the Versa is going to be the same. Powering the little beast is a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder, putting out 122 horsepower at 6,300 RPM, 114 pound-feet of torque, coming in at 4,000 RPM. Power is going to be sent to the front wheels through a 5-speed manual, which comes standard on the S trim level. However, we do have the CVT, which is optional for the S trim level with us here today, but CVT will come standard though on the SV and SR trims. Overall, 0 to 60 time is going to come in at approximately 9.5 seconds, with MPG numbers then coming in at 27 in the city, 35 on the highway for the S, 32 in the city, 40 on the highway then for the SV and SR trims, of course, taking regular unleaded fuel. And so before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in the Versa, I wanted to mention to you guys the drive mode. There is one singular drive mode and it is hidden. It is simply a horizontal line button kind of located on the shifter. And so that's kind of your sport driving mode. It's essentially going to adjust things like the shift points and the throttle response. So now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put that acceleration here to the test and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2023 Nissan Versa here up to speed. And 3, 2, 1, yo! I did put it in that sport driving mode. Huh. It kind of simulated an automatic pretty well. Yeah, not the quickest thing in the world, I will say that, but again, it kind of simulated an automatic transmission pretty well. That's what kind of surprised me the most, because this is a CVT transmission. I really wasn't expecting that, because usually you kind of get that rubber band feel. But with the automatic, it was bouncing the RPMs like it was shifting through gears, which didn't exist. So that's pretty cool. I kind of like the feel of the traditional automatic in the Versa here. So no complaints with me when it comes to the CVT in this thing. But having said that, again, not the quickest thing in the world, but that's to be expected, right? But so anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 10-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 8-inch rear drum brakes. That's going to come standard for all trim levels. As far as that 6E0 stopping distance goes, it's actually going to come in at 124 feet. Pretty on par for the course there. It's a pretty average number. It's not horrible. It's not the best. It's just, it's pretty expected. I'll put it that way. As far as braking feel goes, since there's nobody behind us, it's fine. Honestly, it feels perfectly fine. It feels like a Toyota Corolla, for example. So definitely no issues with the braking feel. And touching on suspension and handling, up front, you're going to get an independent strut type front suspension. In the back, torsion beam rear suspension and a front stabilizer bar. As far as ride quality goes, it's been actually not too bad on my short little test drive here today in the Versa. Although I am sitting at a red light right now, but still, ride quality has been perfectly fine, surprisingly. Now, I will say typically in smaller vehicles, subcompact vehicles like the Versa, you are going to feel a little bit more of the road, but having driven some sports cars lately, it feels better than that. I'll just put it that way. Then touching on steering feel, it's actually not that bad. And traditionally, Nissan does a pretty darn good job with their steering feels. Traditionally weighted a little bit on the heavier side of things, and that is kind of what it feels like in the Versa. So honestly, it's a heavier steering feel than the Corolla, not as heavy as a Civic, and I know those are compacts and not subcompacts, but they're what's fresh in my mind right now. So it's honestly weighted pretty much as it should be. It's not too loose of a steering feel, but it's not that heavy steering feel like you would get in an Acura Integra or a Civic Si or something like that. Then touching on cabin noise, we're going 40 miles per hour right now. There is a little bit of road noise, but the wind noise is 100% at bay, believe it or not. Kind of surprised me there, and it's kind of windy today, so no issues with the wind noise whatsoever, even at higher speeds, but the road noise is definitely definitely there. And again, that's to be expected in the Versa. Touching on visibility then, as I adjust my rear view mirror here, I can see 100% perfectly fine out the back, so you're definitely not gonna have any issues there either. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2023 Nissan Versa. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2023 Nissan Versa, finished in fresh powder is the exterior color name. I actually like the name of that exterior color. It's just like fresh snow, so big fan of that. Anyways, let's go ahead and start with this one is actually made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the number 3, indicating that the 2023 Versa, at least for us here in the US, is built and assembled in Mexico. So let's go ahead and actually move on from that with what's actually new for the 2023 Versa when it comes to the exterior. For example, the new Versa does include some new badging, of course. You got some new Nissan logos. There's a new gray sky pearl paint color for the SV and SR trims, and of course that front grille design is altered slightly up front as well, which I actually like it. I like the chrome accents to the sides there. It looks dang good. But let's go ahead now and make our way to the front of this one. Chrome V-Motion front grille will come standard for the S and SV trim levels. There is then a dark chrome V-Motion front grille for the SR. The SR, of course, being the sportier trim level for the Versa. Halogen projector headlights coming with the S and SV trim levels, and then LED headlights with LED signature lighting coming with the SR. And if you wanted the automatic feature for the Versa, meaning the headlights are going to turn on automatically for you whenever it starts to get dark out, that is going to come on the SV and SR trim levels. It will not come on the S that we have today, unfortunately. And there's available fog lights down below. You guys can see with our S trim level, we got the cutouts for them, but of course they don't actually come standard on the S, but didn't want to mention it nonetheless. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the front end of this one. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the Versa, starting with the window surrounds. Black window surrounds will come standard. There is a floating roof line on the C-pillar back there, kind of separating the roof line from the rest of the body of this one. Power adjustable side mirrors will come standard. They're going to be finished in a matte black for our S trim level. They're going to be finished in gloss black for the SR, and they will be heated then for the SR trim level as well. And by the way, body colored finish, I almost forgot to mention for the SV trim level, but I actually don't mind the black look to it. I think you could probably throw a carbon fiber hood on this, and got the black door handles as well. I like the white and black theme. I've always liked that theme. That was my first car. It was a white car with a bunch of black accents, so I don't mind the white and black theme. I think it looks good. Then take a look down at the wheel configurations. 15-inch steel wheels with covers coming with the S is what you guys are currently looking at. 16-inch aluminum alloys then coming for the SV, and then 17-inch redesigned aluminum alloys. And then another new addition for 2023 then coming with the SR trim level. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of this one, you have a very small matte black antenna found all the way up top on the roof there. Body colored rear spoiler, if you're interested, that is going to come on the SR trim level only. You got that new Nissan logo on the back as well. That definitely looks good. I like the white accents with the white exterior that we have on this one. Another thing I really like on the Versa, and they probably didn't even have to do it, but they did, I like the body colored rear diffuser down below. I think that makes it look a heck of a lot more sporty, so big fan of that as well. And believe it or not, there is a single exhaust outlet tucked all the way underneath there, just below on the passenger side there. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. And so, but now since you are around to the back of the Versa, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, there is a key slot on the trunk itself. So that is how you are going to go ahead and open this one up. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 14.7 cubic feet for the S. However, you do get a little more space for the SV and SR, surprisingly, coming in at 15 cubic feet even. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, only if you go with the SV and SR, meaning the rear seats are going to fold down for quite a bit of extra space then if you needed it. There is cargo lighting back there though. Then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you are going to find a spare tire, but there's a good bit of space surrounding that spare tire, so definitely enough space to put a tire inflator kit or an ice scraper or something like that as well if you wanted to. But then making our way up to the rear legroom, that is going to come in at 31 inches even. So for reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had sitting behind my own driving position there. There is no rear center armrest with cup holders, but to my surprise, there is dual USB charging ports even for the base trim level here in the S, which you never find at this price point. So they definitely got that right. So no air vents, you don't really probably need it in a vehicle of this size, but I love the USB charging ports for the rear passengers. So anyways, then making our way up to the front seats. Manually adjustable cloth seating is going to come standard for all trim levels. Premium cloth is going to come with the SV. Sport cloth is going to come with the SR. Heated front seats also then coming with the SR. As far as seat comfort goes, it wasn't bad, honestly. It was okay. It wasn't the very best as expected. There's no lumbar support or anything like that, but still, it should get the job done. I didn't have any issues in my short test drive. I'll just put it that way. Then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped for the SR trim level only. Otherwise, it will be wrapped in urethane. And for all trim levels, you actually do get a flat bottom steering wheel as well. So a little bit sportier of a look. So I like that. Then making our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key here. You do have your Nissan logo on the one side, but it's just a key, guys. There's no key fob or anything like that unless you go with the SR. SR is actually going to give you a remote start, keyless entry, and push button start, but all that. But with the S and SV, you do get your traditional turnkey start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and turn the key. And so once started up, tachometer is all the way to your left, speedometer is on your right, and there is a small digital display front and center giving you information like average miles per gallon. It actually does give you your outside temperature. It gives you how many miles you have left until you hit empty. So we got 239 miles left right now. We got a little bit over half a tank, so that's not too bad. Trip A, trip B, of course. So pretty much everything you could possibly want, or the basics, I should say, on the digital portion of the gauges there. Then making our way to overall interior quality. Automatic climate control coming with the SR trim level. Wireless phone charger coming with the SV and SR trim level. I like that. And I like this kind of carbon fiber-ish look. It's not authentic carbon fiber, of course, but I like the look of it on the shifter. It's also continued onto the doors. That's pretty cool. Just in front of the shifter, you have a decent amount of storage there. There's an aux port, USB charging port, and a 12-volt power outlet. Behind the shifter, you have dual cup holders and a little bit of storage yet again. And within the center armrest, you have a bunch of coin slots and a teeny tiny little bit of storage in there as well. But I like that it's there just for the sake of the armrest. I'll just say that. But a lot of black plastic, especially surrounding the shifter on the doors as well. But it's to be expected at a car that starts at under $16,000. That's still incredibly impressive these days. But so then making our way to the infotainment screen here, 7-inch color touchscreen display will come standard on the S and SV trim levels. However, the SR is going to give you an 8-inch color touchscreen display. Either way, you get Bluetooth and audio streaming, but to get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, you do have to go with the SV or SR trim. So therefore, we don't have that with us here today, but can of course check out your radio information up there as well. And so when it comes to the sound systems, you will find 4 speakers on the S and SV trims, and then a 6-speaker sound system for the SR. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. All right, 4 speakers, that is to be expected, what it was there. So clarity's not the best. Again, it's 4 speakers. For a vehicle of this size, the 6 speakers should work fine. But the 4-speaker sound system is good for talk radio, perhaps, or maybe a crypto podcast or something like that. But for music, it's not the best. But anyways, last thing I want to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the Versa in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard for all trim levels across the board, letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so front side curtain airbags do come standard, driver and passenger knee airbags as well. I like that. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard for collision warning, autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, high beam assist, gotta love that, and reverse automatic braking then as well. And so overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Versa, very affordable. I love the price point. This may in fact be the most affordable car available, at least here in the US today. So that is incredible. And the S trim level that we have today, the MSRP comes in at right around, I think it's a little over 17, just because we have the CVT, the manual transmission. That's where you can get that under $16,000 price. But right around $17,000, you can get the CVT that feels like an automatic. So that's not too bad. Great fuel economy as well. Of course, with a vehicle like this, you're going to get that. I like the refresh up front as well. Honestly, it's slight, but I do like it. So big fan there. As far as room for improvement goes, this thing is obviously slow. 0 to 60 in 9.5 seconds is not the best, but I would imagine it would be something that you would get used to, just like with anything. If you use it enough, if you drive it enough, you tend to get used to it. You know what the car's capable of, and it becomes a lot easier to kind of gauge how quickly you can get up to speed. And the other thing is, I would have loved to have seen Android Auto, Apple CarPlay coming standard on the S trim level that we have today, because that is kind of a necessity in today's age where everybody has a smartphone. It is very easy to get that navigation displayed up on the infotainment screen if you have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. That is not, unfortunately, present in the S trim level that we have today. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of the Versa in the comment section below. And that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching.